So here's an update and a lesson that I have learned in my journey as a sales development representative. This will be helpful to somebody that's trying to learn sales, trying to learn cold calling. Potentially you're growing a service business or some kind of business where it's useful to be able to make calls and make cold calls for that. So the big lesson I've learned, all right, at least one of them anyway, is that uh, volume, which is making a lot of calls, volume is the single most important skill in cold calling. Like you can worry about tonality, you can worry about getting the script right, you can worry about building rapport with the uh, prospect, you can worry about getting a better lead list, you can worry about role playing, you can worry about objection handling, you can worry about sending emails to complement your cold calls so that they're not cold, they're warm. You can worry about reading affirmations. These are all things you can worry about that um, will make you better overall. Will make what you're doing better overall. But none of these things is gonna move the needle as much as simple volume. Like that's number one. It's so far out in first place. It's like putting Usain Bolt, the world's fastest man, against your little 6-year-old niece, right? You see the difference. That you can have 100 of these, and they can run a relay race, so they don't even have to run the entire race. It's a relay them against Usain Bolt. They just have to pass the baton on to the next guy, so the tired one can get a little rest, right? And Usain is still out there charging along on his own, and he's gonna win every single time. That's literally what this is like. Like, you can have a bad script, you can have little to no practice, you can have not be sending emails. All those other things can be off in slight variations of off, like 20% off, 30% off, 50%, some of them even 80% off. And so, but if that guy that's got all those things wrong, but if he's the guy that's working huge, insane volume, like imagine if you could make, um, I'm gonna give you an easy example just to prove the case, all right? Um, Look at a big real estate company like Keller Williams. They got thousands of real estate agents and things like that. Um, let's suppose that all those agents, you replaced all those people with people fresh out of school, never been trained in sales, and let's suppose we've got 20,000 new Keller Williams real estate agents that have never been trained, and then never been trained, right? We want them to be able to sell a house. We got houses, we got 5,000 houses that need to be sold that we've put on the books, and Keller Williams is supposed to move these 5,000 houses. We give them to the 20,000 untrained agents, completely zero skills. And now let's take, so these are 20,000 agents. Now let's take the 3 best salesmen in the world. Super well trained, incredible gift of gab, unbelievable skills. And those 3 best salesmen in the world are Brian Tracy, legend, legend of sales. Jordan Belfort, another legend of sales, Wolf of Wall Street. And Grant Cardone, another legend of sales, undercover billionaire. And we'll put these 3 guys, maybe we take them to a big hotel in Las Vegas, one of the iconic hotels and casinos, and that's gonna be their campaign headquarters. and they're supposed to sell 5,000 houses, and we give them 30 days. Now they're gonna make cold call after cold call after cold call to try to to sell these to try to sell these houses. Now let's suppose actually that the campaign is gonna be just 7 days, right? We give them 7 days, or actually make it 5 days. So you're supposed to move 1,000 houses in a day. And I'm telling you, these guys are great, amazing salespeople, these three champions. But for them to be able to move those 5,000 houses in 5 days, I mean, I respect these guys. They're some of my favorite salesmen. I've gotten training from, some of them. So I know they're very capable. But moving 5,000 houses in 5 days using nothing but cold calls, it's gonna be heroic, it's gonna be fun, but they're probably not gonna be able to do it. They might get, I don't know, they might get a few hundred, 700 or so done. Now let's look at the other team, the 20,000 untrained agents. Now we put those guys in 2 huge stadiums, 10,000 each, and we give them phones to dial, and they are dialing 20,000 of them. So that means where the 3 guys, let's suppose the 3 guys in an hour were able to make 100 cold calls each. So that would be like in an hour 300 cold calls. Hey, good. Now with our 20,000 guys, each of them making 100 cold calls an hour, they don't even need to make 100 cold calls an hour. Let's say they're doing half of that. So let's say that they are doing just 50 cold calls, because after all, they are a bunch of untrained beginners, right? So instead of being able to do 2 million cold calls an hour, they're doing just 1 million cold calls an hour. You see the difference? 300 cold calls. There's such a million, a million cold calls. Like, even if you're bad, these guys are just gonna win because they're making 1 million cold calls an hour, dude. Like, this competition will be over before it began. So that's the point, guys. I told you I'd give you a very stupid example, but I hope now you realize. I hope now you realize. So it's good to work to be a better salesman and all that, but this is a game where the masses win, and if you can get a lot of cold calls down, 200 is better than 100. 500 is better than 300. 1,000 is better than 500. 20,000 is better than 300. So you want to work insane volume, and that's one of the biggest lessons in my journey, my adventure so far as a sales development representative.